Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Gina Lee.
Good morning, Party Marty. Good morning, CC.
Good morning, Gina Lee. Good morning, baby.
Good morning, C. How you doing today, everybody?
Morning, Podcast Land.
Good
Good
morning,
morning out there in Parker's land. Gina Lee got a lot of energy today, C, don't she?
Yeah, she's smiling bright today.
Yeah, I'm telling you, for a person that wears so many hats and got so many things to do. We were talking to Gina the other day about what we was going to do, and I just overheard her and my wife talking. I didn't even get into it. She says, "I'm like, I think I'm free on Friday from 2 to 2:12 or something like that." What the hell? When you going out? Well, I don't know. The weekend is out, and next Thursday is out. And I say, Jesus Christ! And you know,
Like that.
hey, Podcast Land, you do know she's retired.
Not anymore.
She's retired.
Look, I got this right here. This the not the next play, but this the play after that.
Lord have mercy.
I got 3 plays that I've got to put to memory in the next by December. Well, the first one I've already put that to memory.
Mhm.
This one I'm working on. That's for January. Then I got another one in April. But so I have a little bit of time, but still.
So sometimes do y'all need extras and stuff in the plays?
Yeah, they always looking for people to come and play roles. Sure.
Okay, I might jump in there as long as I ain't got to study for every day for a month and a half. I just want to jump in there. I'll need might be a tree or something like that. You might need a tree.
I mean, like the one I'm getting ready to do now. It's called Christmas is Coming Uptown. That's what it's called. And I mean, they need in the beginning, there's a part where we're shopping. So they just need people that are shopping.
Mhm.
To make it look like it's outside and you're window shopping and that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's called extras.
Yeah.
See, I knew that. Y'all thought I didn't know about plays. I go to plays, I'm party. I mean, I ain't just naive. I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. I ain't smart like Gina, and I don't read ketchup bottles like my wife, but I'm no dummy. All right, y'all. First of all, like we said, we're always full of energy when we get out here at the beginning of the week and stuff like that, right before we have a show on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're full of energy. We have Simply Us Move right now, so you catch us at our best. Anyway, so let's get into prayer and get our program started. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, we always start our prayers off with everybody that's out there fighting in God-forsaken wars. Losing mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, losing limbs, losing sight, losing their homes, marriages breaking up, just all the chaos and confusion that goes on with those people that's doing. There's always a special shout out to my good friend Stan, who and Andre, my nephew from the service. They're Marines. Hoorah, hoorah! People out there that's making sure that they fight so that we're okay. Father God, please, we always pray for everybody that's still dealing with this God-forsaken pandemic. And everybody, that we realize that there's more of y'all getting the shot, and I'm thankful for that you're listening to me, the doctor, or somebody, but still we have a long way to go. Father God, please, everybody, keep us close. Father God, welcome back to my big cuz who I made a mistake and blocked on Facebook, Helen. My big cuz from North Carolina that teaches us the concept that we already know is plain and simple. All God owes you is grace and mercy. All God has promised you is his grace and mercy. From then on, you should be able to do the rest yourself. Welcome back, big cuz. Moment of silence, please. Amen.
Amen.
You know, speaking of that with Facebook, let's get into that. Everybody just sees Facebook as something that the older people do because they're on Instagram and IT and TikTok and all that. They just see Facebook as something that we do to amuse ourselves and with our time, and we do. But it also connects people. Gina Lee and I have been friends forever. we now vigilantly, you know, in communication with each other without exaggeration, at least 5 to 6 days a week. And we got really connected back again through Facebook. You know, not like we had you know, didn't see each other, didn't talk to each other, but we communicated through Facebook. And now I have my historian, you know what I mean, and my friend back of over 60 years from the kindergarten. You know, my cousin, Big Howland, I call him my big cousin, because even though our family is a little different, I don't know if it's your family. Helen, Linda, which we call Niecy, Ursel, Aunt, and them, they all just a couple years older than me. But we call them big cuz, because we don't, our big cuz, we didn't come up as my big brothers and all that, but my big brothers now, because they old and we all brothers and all that. When we came on, they were my big brothers. I ain't hang with them. They're bigger than me. Cousin Helen, Aunt Ursel, Niecy, we all hang out now and go to live and all that kind of stuff together. When we came along, we didn't so much hang like that. We were doing the village thing. That's who took you shopping. That's who gave you money. I mean, if that's making any sense to y'all. A couple of years now, we're the same age. But back in the day, if I'm 14 and you 18 or 19, you were grown. You were grown. You did things differently. And I connected back with because, you know what I mean? You know, she got blocked somehow when I got a new phone. But she made a conscious effort. My other cousin, my regular cousin, Shiva, she made a conscious effort. Everybody made a conscious effort to get back in touch with each other. Because I hadn't talked to her in a while, and I thought something I wanted. You don't want to go out and say, hey, you okay? You sick? I'm letting you play it off. And I asked somebody, get in touch with me, because I knew that she would have been in touch with me by then. By accident, I got blocked. Okay, this conversation is about all this foolishness that goes on with Facebook. They send you so many friend requests from people that you're already friends with. So when Big Cuz sent me a friend request, I didn't respond to it because I'm already a friend. I didn't know that she had got knocked out of them. But Gina shook her head. Yet they send you so many friend requests. You know what I mean? Hey, John, 2 E's for life, baby. 2 E's for life. John taught us that. Shout out to the great Clifton T. Perkins.
Hey, Marvin.
That's what's up. You know, so listen. So all these people keep sending you all these friend requests and stuff like that, and so you don't answer them. They got something crazy going on now that I noticed. Cece was telling me, and Gina may know more on this. She was comment on this topic. I said, why would people send you a friend request? Everybody here, I've been hacked. I mean, everybody been hacked. So, if you been hacked, don't mean nothing. I don't know nobody on Facebook ain't been hacked, right, y'all? But I didn't understand the concept of somebody sending you an extra friend request to get extra. And then now they would talk about it on the news the other day. They do anything they can to get into your account. They get just enough information on you to hey y'all, if you don't know, to steal your identity, to put a card in your name or something like that. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, they put a card in your name or something like that. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I deem not really important or something like that about Facebook, what people are doing. I didn't see it as that. Doc, I don't know if that's your volume or something like that, but it's got a rattle me. Hey, I didn't know if that was as important as now. They have something going on. It's a bunch of people on Facebook that they're calling whistleblowers. These whistleblowers are now saying that Facebook, the people of hierarchy and the administration, vice presidents, stuff like that, big CEOs are saying that Facebook has now promoted violence. They say that it's promoting racism, unjust politics, a whole bunch of stuff that's going on with this. Now, I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but I don't follow that. I'm not Doc. I don't be watching the inner workings of stuff like that. That's not important to me. If it ain't the Ravens, if it ain't outside, if it ain't a bill or something like that, if it's not important to me, it's not important to me. That's one of my many shortcomings. But I wanted the panel to get out here and talk about what I've been noticing now. They're saying that Facebook, I see all y'all idiots out there. I call you damn fools. Running around posting people fighting. You know what I mean? After school, waiting for you to jump on you. Bunch of foolishness. So I see those kind of things. But they're saying that Facebook, I'm stumbling through this because this isn't my field. I'm stumbling through this because they're saying that Facebook is a big promoter of racism. I don't see it. But then again, I wasn't looking for it. So I'm gonna start the day off. That's my topic, and I want to learn from people who have a comment on this. We're gonna start with the doctor because these things are their field. You know what I mean? This is his field. So, Doc, they start talking about Facebook is promoting racism. They say that one of the biggest avenues that Donald Trump used and the good old boys was Facebook. So one of the biggest things that he used to keep his message going on and terrorism and racism and all that, but Donald Trump was Facebook. And I'm on Facebook all the time. I don't see it. Doc, can you tell me what the novice like myself is missing? What exactly are they talking about?
Well, what they're talking about is there are certain called algorithms that actually track how things are being done with Facebook. I
don't mean to cut you off, Doc. Give us that word. There's certain what now?
It's called algorithms, and that's actually dealing with patterns that kind of like can track and do certain things, you know, as far as with social media or like the computer. So what's happening is that they're saying that they removed, they wasn't necessarily promoting it as much as they removed the filters that would filter it out. So what will happen is you'll have a person that will put a post up about, let's say, the brother that was tracked down by the brothers who the white man that tracked the young man down and shot him, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, and so what they'll do is, and then somebody will put a post saying, you know, well, that person should have just followed the rules. They should just obey, you know, officers, you know, and different things. And so you'll have 10 people that will turn around and respond to that. And so when you had a lot of people that was doing the situation in North Carolina, where they had the tiki torches and they were marching around, you know, saying, you know, that Jews will not control us. You had people allowing certain things to actually be on those feeds where people would be agreeing with them. So now you got people agreeing with them. So now you got a whole bunch of people that don't agree with them. So that it create, you know, how a person, you know, could be a safety, you know, in the school and you know, and that was the person that had that orange belt around them and they would be doing good. Yeah, you know, well, yeah, they ain't letting me be a safety though. They ain't letting me be a safety. I did want that belt, you know, then I said, man, forget y'all. But what ended up happening though, you know what I'm saying, is that safety, you know, may not get the same type of attention as that person that's fighting every day. Now, everybody talking about the fight, but they ain't talking about the safety help y'all cross the street today. You know what I'm saying? Because they just like, that ain't a big deal. He's supposed to do that. That's his job. So what I'm saying is that a good story, you know, may go around, you know, one time or twice or maybe 3 times. And then a bad story will go around 17 times because everybody liked the drama and everybody's amped up about it. And what they were doing is they were pulling those filters off during time periods of around the election, around the insurrection, you know what I'm saying? Around some of these things, allowing more drama to put more interaction in more people are on social media, and then the more people that's on there, they deal with the numbers, then we deal with advertising. So really it's about the money. So I don't think that they were trying to be as much racist as they were trying. They just didn't care about racism, and they was trying to get paid. That's what I really feel, because I don't think that they wanted to be racist. What I feel is that type of drama drummed up a lot of attention that made them actually be able to get paid from it. Because they actually, when their numbers go up, they able to use advertisement. People will advertise no matter how bad the situation is going on. And that's really what was happening as far as with that. So, so yes, they did play a part in it, but I don't think it was to the degree like the Ku Klux Klan or something like that. It was more or less like, look, we're gonna let the drama just kick and roll, and then we're gonna advertise with the numbers that's coming up, because this has brought a lot of attention to our platform. And I think that that's really what it was. So yes, they played us, they played the people, and we end up being collateral damage. Because see, a lot of people may just say, okay, he's talking rhetoric, he's talking trash, but you're gonna have somebody that's gonna believe in it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have somebody that's gonna act on it. See, before, racism was really a lot more undercover. You seen white people and you knew what they was thinking in their mind as far as certain things, or you thought what somebody was thinking, but they didn't say it. But now they have been emboldened by I guess some people's last president to be able to act on the same thing that they think about. And I think that's the part where it gets dangerous, because when you got a police officer that is wearing a mask, that's saying, love it or leave it, or leave our country or build the wall. So I'm already saying, but you supposed to protect me. You're supposed to protect me, but you wearing something that's offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like drawing a line through Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? You should, so you're saying that my black life don't matter to you. You know what I mean? And so, I don't think that they, just like I said, was focusing on the racism. They was focusing on the paper.
Right now, that's a great topic. I think CC was teaching me about tracking cookies, where I'll put up something, I'm looking for a television, and then I look for the television, I look online for the TV, I find a TV, I go buy the TV. And for the next month, every time I turn my finger on, CC said they call tracking cookies. They keep showing me televisions on sale. I already got a television. CC got a burning desire. I seen her up there, her head rolling, so she got a comment on this topic. Get in there, Steve.
Okay, well, everything that Doc was saying is absolutely true, but where that may be a bad thing for some people, to me, it was a good thing, because it allowed some of these masks to come off of some of these bad actors. Right. I need to know if you think I'm the N-word. I need to know if you're a police officer who thinks Black lives doesn't matter. I need to know if you're a politician and you're representing my district and your views are vastly different from what I think the needs of my community are. So, I understand where the outrage is coming from, and what people have to understand about companies like Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Businesses are about money. And we can all fool ourselves into thinking that Mark Zuckerberg cares something about us and he should care about our feelings and what people are saying to us. But what we are actually doing is just playing a game with ourselves and fooling ourselves, because that's not the case, and I understand that it may be a harsh reality for some people to really buy into, but, I think that part of the reason why we are at the point that we are as a people, as a community, as a race, is because we keep buying into these false narratives. We have to really look at these things and see them for what they are. Facebook never cared about your safety. You know, even before any of this came up, Facebook is a business, you know, and we get our use out of it, and it's a free platform, and it's good for many things, connecting with old friends and doing what we're doing right now. But at the end of the day, you know, we cannot fool ourselves into thinking that these people care. And it just was exposed that what we always knew to be true is actually true.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're so right.
I agree with both of y'all, because you know, when I think about, you know, the fact that Facebook allowed people like the My Pillow guy to come on and actually, you know, fuel his conspiracy theories. And then you got the Marjorie Taylor Greens, you got, you know, all these other people allowed to come on and share their views, which are absolutely untrue, you know. But like Doc said, somebody is going to listen and agree with them.
Right.
You know, that's the sad part about it, is the fact that, you know, you the freedom of speech, what are you to say? You can't say what you want to say, but I can, you know. But at the same time, it's like misinformation, just out and out lies, ought to be controlled. You know, that kind of, you know, misinformation where it can actually do harm to people, you know, should be controlled. And like C said, it was all about the dollar signs. They didn't give a darn, you know, whether somebody's life was taken because somebody sat there and watched a white supremacist video, you know, and got all hyped up and went outside and shot somebody. You know, as a matter of fact, I got a story that I'm going to share later on. But, you know, it's crazy what social media can do to just an average individual if they consume the wrong information.
And I do agree that, you know, these platforms do have a certain responsibility to the public to filter that kind of information, to make sure that misinformation doesn't reach the public. But at the end of the day, the only thing that for me that I'm saying is that I really don't. I understand the outrage, but I don't understand the shock. I don't understand why people are so shocked by this. I mean, did you really think that Mark Zuckerberg was sitting home laying on top of his pile of money, sitting back saying, "Well, let me make sure that the content that reaches the public doesn't harm this community"? I mean, I didn't. But I do think that, you know, those kind of companies do have a certain responsibility to the public. And I think that, as in many occasions, that they failed us on that point.
You know, one of the top, thank you everybody, Doc, CC, and Gina. Let me tell y'all something. Here's one of the shortcomings that we start off with. And I'm proud of this not being my shortcoming. I have so many shortcomings. So the things that aren't my shortcomings, I like to use as my platform for somebody else to learn. You know, y'all, a lot of y'all out there won't say you don't know. That's one of our shortcomings. You won't say you don't know. I don't have a clue what's going on, what's wrong with Facebook. I don't see nothing wrong, but I enjoy it. When I hear somebody talking about it on the news, Cece gets up every day and watches Gail. I got to see what Gail talking about. I got to see what Gail. I mean, I don't know. Damn Gail. You know what I mean? You know, so Cece gets up every day and watches that. And because she's watching it, guess what I'm doing, Doc and Gina? I'm playing Pinochle online. Playing on Facebook. Surfing there, seeing what I can buy. I ain't doing nothing constructive. See what I'm saying? So people don't understand. They don't own up to their shortcomings. When I get out here in these podcasts and stuff like that, I try to learn. And what I do is I play these podcasts back. I don't realize how many times I say and stuff like that until I look at it when I redo it and stuff like that. And I was just saying stuff like that. I don't even know. I unconsciously do it. A lot of people don't try to better themselves with stuff. I know that I don't have a lot of information on topics because I'm not going to research it because it is not a priority to me. So I get up here on this podcast and throw it out there, or I listen to people that it's a priority to, and I learn from it. And I learn from them. That's one of the many things y'all out there in podcast land won't do. Out in the world won't do. When Doc started the conversation, what was it called? What exactly was the device or the reasoning they were using? What was the first word you used?
I said algorithms.
Algorithm. They'll let Doc go up and say, yeah, the algorithms. That went through and kept going. Why don't you stop that person for a minute and say what the hell is about algorithm? So you learned that word. CC, yeah, they think that Mark something is sitting in there. I don't know who the hell Mark, who she just talked about, is. You know what I mean? I don't know. I really don't care. But I will know the next time that his name came up or comes up because I stopped and I asked him about it so I could find out.
Right. And you know what, brother? And let me just share this with you. When you ask me the question, I actually know what algorithms mean and what it is. But I have to actually now do more research because I want to be able to explain it better. Because I'm like, I know what it is, but it's hard to explain. So I was just like, I said, you know what? I said, when I get off this iPad, I'm off this show, I'm going to actually go. I want to look it up and I want to be able to explain it better. Because I was like, you did okay, but you know what I'm saying? You know that you know, I understand it and know it a little bit different. I'm like, but I got to be able to explain what I'm saying.
I think you did a really good job of explaining it, actually, you know, because the way you explained it was something that somebody could take and share with a layperson. An algorithm basically is nothing more than tallying how many people select this particular item.
Right.
Just like, you know, you said, Party Marty, you went to look for TVs. So the algorithm is tracking how many people are looking for televisions. And they're going to send out advertisement to those people that continue to look for televisions. Yeah. Same thing. I mean, if you look for an apartment, all of a sudden you're going to have Zillow and all those places, you know, Long and Foster, everybody going to be sending you apartment listings, you know, that kind of thing. It tracks, you know, it says, okay, if you have 10 people, 3 of those people are looking for televisions, 3 more are looking for apartments, and 3 more are looking for recipes. Okay. And then you got 1 who's just on there just to chat with their friend. Okay. But they're going to send them advertising anyway, because the advertising actually is where they make the money. They're getting money from the advertisers. So they're pushing their products out to you, the consumer, and keeping you hooked in, keeping you interested, keeping you looking. And that's what the algorithm does. It's just a tool that they use to track how many people are doing A, B, and C.
You know, go ahead, Doc.
No, I was just going to say that's why some people are on social media to be social, but some people on this thing grinding because they know, like with YouTube, after you get past 1 million views for something, let's say you doing the stupidest stuff, the craziest stuff, but after you get that, you can get paid now. Yeah. So now what they do is they'll start your video out and then they'll force the person to watch 5 seconds of a commercial before they go back to it. So the person, you know, has to watch your thing, you know, saying before they can finish your video. And now people will know that this is a way to get paid. So you got people that's almost losing their life trying to do crazy stuff and doing silly stuff. And in fact, sometimes I watch some things and I'm like, I don't know how. I would never do that. I would never put myself in this. But I see them as really just focusing on likes and views and not really focusing on real life. And so to me, I'm more concerned about how somebody look at me in real life, you know what I'm saying, than to take, you know, social media as being my entire life.
Right. Like the people doing that crate challenge. You know, they had old people,
getting hurt, getting hurt,
60, 70 years old, climbing these daggone crates and falling. I mean, they could have broke something and been paralyzed or anything.
Right.
I mean,
and you know, with that kind of stuff, Gina, that's why I say, you know, the platforms do have a certain duty, but at the same time, like, it's no substitute for common sense. You know, these people, if somebody is a racist, if they don't find racist content on Facebook, they're gonna find it somewhere because they're gonna find something to back up their point of view. You know, so this is, you know, I understand, but I'm just like I said, I'm not really all that surprised and shocked by this development because I just can't understand why. And I guess I may be cynical from my upbringing and from just my life in general, but I never have been a person that think that strangers care about me or my well-being or the well-being of my community. Why should they?
You know, everybody out there in podcast land, first of all, to my panel, thank you for enlightening me in those topics and the things that I just learned from it. I also thought about what Cece said. As a matter of fact, ironically, I learned again exactly what's going on. We right now, our prescription for advertising for Party Marty's Moon Bounce on Instagram has elapsed, and I was wondering why I haven't gotten any calls in a couple of days. Right? See, we were just talking about that.
Right.
Advertisement is gone. So you're right, Doc and Gina. Now I got to renew my advertisement because I advertise on Instagram for the Moon Bounce Company. I get customers off of that. And then one person sees it, the next person sees it. So as y'all saying, it does work. I want to say this to y'all out there in podcast land before we move along in Gina Lee's topics. Get you some words. Get you some go-to words. You don't have to be Dr. Ted with a PhD to throw words out there. My wife reads ketchup bottles. My wife is smart, very smart. So she has immense vocabulary. You ever watch Gina? Gina just uses words in the context. That's just how she talks. That's just how she talks. She ain't showing off hitting you with words, but that's how she talks. A word, she interjects a word where it needs to be interjected. But me, myself, I'm appalled that I didn't know some of these words. People run over there using legerdemain acts. You feel me? So a person like myself will interject the word when he get a chance to get it in there. I don't use words in a regular context just because I'm using that word. You know what I mean? It just doesn't naturally come to me. You know what I mean? I can give you this. Yeah, hey, what's up, Baltimore Jack? You don't know? Ew. You know that? That's my regular conversation. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up with all that Baltimore shit? Yo, what's up, boy? You over east. I'm West Baltimore Party Marty. Do your homework on me, Jack. I can give you what I give you because that's what I know. That's what I know. But for some of y'all that's out here, get you a word. My go-to word is a pole. First time I heard a pole, that's a smooth, little, easy word, but it's powerful. I love the word appalled. I'm appalled that you tried to talk to me like that, and now all of a sudden you shocked that it's blood on your shirt. I'm appalled you tried it. In other words, what's the matter with you, Jack? Blood on your shirt now, ain't it? Come on. You gotta get to him, Doc. I get to him. It's just a word. I'm appalled. You feel me? And when people try that sleight of hand, try to get slick, what Brian said, words for you. What is it?
Reprobate.
Okay, there you go. What does reprobate mean? That's the word. What's the word? What's the word? Y'all know
that's the word. That's
okay. What does it mean? Brian, post what it means. You put it out there. What is reprobate?
I was about to say you got us all stumped that time.
I know what probate is because I worked in the probate court for 35 years. But the reprobate, I don't know.
Maybe you reprobated it then.
An unprincipled person.
What is it?
An unprincipled person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. Brian threw it out there and told us look it up. That means he know. Yeah, I had to get you out there, Brian. Brian's a highly educated individual black man that owns numerous businesses, and he has powerful positions. Brian has powerful positions. He was head of the waterworks company for the city of Baltimore. He has powerful positions and stuff, but he's a regular guy. He's like a Dr. Ted. You know what I mean? When they when they wear their hats at work and stuff like that, they got their hats on. But stuff like that, they just regular people. They're regular people. They don't throw themselves around. So before we move over to Gina, I want to tell you something. And thank you for putting that in there, Brian, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Get you a few go-to words, yo.
And don't be ashamed to look the word up if you don't know the meaning of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what looking up stuff, dictionaries, that's what it's for, so that you can know the next time.
Just to share with you, do you know that when that teacher told me, or that counselor said I shouldn't attempt to go to college, a lot of it had to do with I had a high vocabulary, but I didn't know how to spell the words that I knew. I used to listen to Farrakhan. I used to listen to Malcolm X tapes. I used to listen to old Martin Luther King tapes. I used to like old school music like Muddy Waters and, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, just a lot of, you know, I was old school in a way. But what I did is that when I started going to college, I used to carry around a dictionary and a thesaurus with me, and you know, and then also a pad. And every time somebody would say, a professor would say a word, and I love that word, I would take it and I would learn how to spell it, and I learned how to what it means. So if somebody said narcissistic, I love that word. And when, you know, the person is narcissistic, when somebody said effervescent, I love that word. And these were words that I did not know how to spell at all. And I started writing down all of these slick words, and I learned how to spell them and learn what the meaning was, so that my spelling could match my vocabulary. And that's really what ended up helping me to come and graduate and come back to the same school that the counselor said I shouldn't attempt to go to college.
Wow.
And now I have a higher degree in education than the same person that said I shouldn't attempt to go.
And that's something.
Run, tell it. Hands up.
Run, tell
Hands
that.
up. Run, tell it. Y'all tell everything else about us over here in West Baltimore. Run, tell that. You know, shout out to our good friend John Lucas. Big John, we called him. Big John, who got me started with words. You know, that's who got me started with words. He used to have a tape like you, Dr. Ted. He had a tape that he used to listen to, and it had like 30 words that you would learn. And he used to throw words out and stuff. And the word that, come on, Cookie. The bad self. Hey, listen,
look, you're so busy thinking I'm doing something to you. Now you gonna call a dog man.
Yeah. She's just bad. I don't know about I heard your dog over there, Doc, barking and barking. My dog sit right here quiet. It's gonna be as soon as the podcast starts. Ruff, ruff. What the hell's the matter, Gina?
The only time she ever bark.
Gina cat. I only know if Gina know the cat be running across the bureaus behind her and stuff like that. She on the air, running all over. Gina over there talking, and this is number 2 cat running across there. Stop. I don't know if you know Gina.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, Gina. I don't even know if you know cat always in the background when you advertising your stuff. They know what they doing. You're not showing them no attention. But anyway, shout out to John Lucas. He was one of them that taught me that, and he hit me with my word. I'm gonna learn how to spell it too, Doc. Legerdemain, but that's sleight of hand. You know what I mean? People going off trying to do some slick stuff to you. You feel me? So I use that. Let's move along, y'all. First of all, thank you for everybody. I hope y'all learned something about the Facebook situation. And you may not have known it, but in our little mess, we had 2 or 3 different opinions on it. They just weren't strong opinions to or from. Doc said there was some stuff they didn't do. Cece said, well, I'm glad to know that these snakes are out there. Y'all know my wife. She calls everybody by name. She's going to expose you cowards. You know, she's going to do it. That's the thing. You know what I mean? And Gina Lee made sure that she got in there and told the gentleman with the PhD, Doc, I like the way you explained it because you know I knew the real meaning of it too, just like you. But you explained it for party, so the party would understand. You know what I mean? I read not King James. I read what is it, International? What's the new version of the Bible?
The NIV version.
Yeah, the New International Version. Yeah.
The New International Version. I had it right. Good one. Doc in with some NIV. Yeah, that's some doctor shit. Anyway, the International Version is what it says on the book. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. So I like reading that. Thee, thou, you know what I mean? I have never gotten through Numbers yet. I've read the Bible in different times, being incarcerated, being on drugs and all that, but I can't get through Numbers. You know what I mean? Numbers is just the longest, boringest. I just can't get through it. You know what I mean? But when I read that same Numbers, I got fascinated with the Bible with Job. Because Job was, man, God allowed the devil to do what he wanted to Job. And Satan, man, shout out to you, Satan. You was not bluffing with Job.
No,
I killed all your daughters, and I left one of them. I burnt all your fields, but I left one of them. I hung everybody. I gave you the phantom. I did this, man. Hey, Jack, that Job was something. But Satan, boy, shout out to you, Jack. If y'all don't respect Satan, Satan ain't playing with your monkey ass.
Yes, sir.
And if you think that you believe in God and you don't believe in Satan, they got to work. What I call him, Gina? What I call him? Damn fool. If you think that the Satan ain't got no powers, he may not have powers over the Lord, but he got powers over your dumb ass. Take it from the dope fiend, jailbird, attempt murderer. Run, tell that. You sit over there, he can convince you to do all kind of dumb ass shit. He can convince, oh yeah, God, like God got me to hit the lottery. I hit the lottery. Satan give you lottery numbers. You can get a lottery number from Satan. Went over there, boy. I stole that boy package. He ain't even know. I'm smiling in his face and I'm screwing this girl. Ha 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 ha. Satan got you to do that. And then when you laid up in that alley with your wig split wide open, bleeding, howling, help, all of a sudden, there you go. Now you howl, God help me. Nah. You was with Satan a minute ago, weren't you, Slim? Satan a minute ago, Satan got you to do all that now, God help me. Nah. And I do what God did a minute ago when you got that Lamborghini. God ain't give you that new Porsche. God ain't give you the Michael Jordan. God ain't give you that. You went and did what you had to do. You gang banging, gun wielding thug. You. If you're gonna tell a story, tell a story. So y'all, we want to make sure that we understand, y'all. My segment that I gave was about learning. Get a few words out there. Let Doc go off there and give school 10, 12 years of his life. I ain't gonna be able to do it. Let Doc do it. Hey, thanks, Doc. But I'm gonna take a few of them words. Before the program's over, I hope y'all listen. After Gina has her part and Cece has her part, we're gonna spend our last 20 minutes letting Doc do some knowledge. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. When you out here, y'all do what you're doing. Gina Lee, what's your topic today? Let's talk.
Well, my topic today is something that I came across on the news that tens of millions. First of all, hello everybody. This is Gina Lee.
Gina.
Tens of millions of filthy, and let me say that again, filthy used medical gloves have been imported to the United States. Tens of millions of medical gloves. And they're saying that this was done, they found the original company. Well, let me go back. When the pandemic started, you remember that the frontline workers were, begging for, PPE and surgical gloves and all this kind of thing. Well, this company over in Bangkok figured out how to make trillions of dollars. And what they did was they took the used gloves, they washed them and dried them off and put them in boxes and shipped them over here in the boxes that we see on the shelf. I mean, when I saw the news story, I could hardly believe, because I've seen these same, and I'm sure you have too. When you go to the doctor's office or dental office or wherever, you've seen these boxes of gloves sitting around. These were the same boxes. And, what they're saying is that the gloves, they had, some of them actually had blood on them. They were, they had blood stains. They were dirty. And some of them had what they call markers on them from dates dating 2 years ago. When they say markers, they're talking about when they washed them and dried them, the chemicals that were on the gloves had already hardened the glove to a point where it was like crispy. Okay. And they can't even track how many hospitals, doctor's offices, or so forth have used these products.
Did they say what brand it was, Gina?
The company that sent them over is called Paddy, Paddy, The Room. Paddy The Room. That's the name of the distributor. That, and it does have that name on the box.
Okay.
So, but it's very small. It's up in the corner. But of course, the large print is, excuse me, latex gloves, and the size, and the weight of the box, and that kind of thing. So it's so, it's in such small print that you wouldn't pay much attention to it.
Right.
And they were saying hospitals have like whole rooms filled with these products. So, and then they were saying that in February and March of this year, one U.S. company warned the federal government about these soiled gloves, but that it had received shipments filled with the substandard and visibly soiled gloves from this company. So they were saying that at that time, though, the company continued to send these gloves tens of millions more to the United States in the following months, some arriving as recently as July. Okay, so they were just saying that, when you go to your doctor or whatever, be mindful, to, ask him to check, or her to check, to make sure that if you're touching me with clean gloves.
It's so sad when we buy those products from overseas. Now, that's a situation where there should definitely be some sanctions, some penalties. Somebody should face some type of punishment. But I think that that's part of the problem with buying things from overseas, is that I don't know what the process is, but it seems like there is a level of difficulty with holding people accountable and imposing those sanctions when they are not U.S. companies.
And the other thing is, late last year, they because it was so much going on with the government, that you know, they claim that they hadn't gotten around to it, to investigate. So I guess now they're getting around to it. But how many people possibly have died from contamination? You know,
That's
I mean,
terrible.
you're in an operating room and you can be open and somebody's using a filthy glove.
That once worked on an AIDS patient.
Anything.
Mhm.
Anything.
Absolutely.
And when they showed the pictures of the warehouses, I mean, the gloves were all over the floor in piles, almost as tall as me, waiting to be washed and packed and sent to the United States.
And you know, you will be surprised at the number of people who actually die or get even sicker from nosocomial infections, which are hospital acquired infections. You know, so that's why when
See,
people
hold up again. See, what's the word again?
nosocomial infections.
And what does that mean?
It means hospital acquired infections that
Okay.
they get while they're in the hospital.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And you would really be surprised at how high those numbers are. That's why it's so important that when people, family, loved ones, friends, whoever, go into the hospital, especially if they're very sick and unable to be their own voice, you got to have somebody with you, people, because don't think that just because it's a hospital that everything is above board. People work in hospitals. You know, people take shortcuts. You know, people don't always do the things that they're supposed to do. And as a result, people get sick, people die, you know, medical malpractice happens. So it's important to have somebody with you that can be your voice, that can speak, that can say, did you wash your hands? Where did those gloves come from? What are you doing? The questions have to be asked. Don't just blindly go into healthcare settings and think that everybody is there to live up to their oath of doing no harm, because people are imperfect.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well, should I go on to my second topic?
Please do. Please
Okay.
do. Go ahead.
My second topic is um
Wait a minute, Gina. Hold up.
regarding a
Gina. Hold. Doc, Doc and CC, y'all okay with closure on that topic?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it just really made me think of something though, and I could just share it real quick.
Please do.
When I was actually born, my mother, she was, on the operating table and everything, but they ended up sewing my mother up with a utensil inside of her. And she ended up getting affected and it became septic. And so my mother, I came home from the hospital before my mother. She had lost so much weight that they said that I didn't even recognize her. Didn't want to go to her as a baby, and they said that she was so far gone. The doctors told my father that she probably wouldn't make it through the night. So my father, she was so far gone out of it, he would have to wake her up and tell her to breathe. He had to stay with her all night, holding her hand, and he would say, Bertha, breathe, because she was so unconscious, and so under, and she did make it through the night, and my father was, with her, but I just thought about that and how things can just happen so quickly, with that. And it's so unfortunate, because what if she did not have a husband there that was willing to stay all night trying to make her breathe through the night. And so it was just hearing that story just kind of brought that, back to me, because I may not have grown up with a mother. And, but I thank God that wasn't the case.
Gina, before you get into your next topic and stuff, out there in podcast land, stop thinking that you're the only people that's dealing with some shit in life. Stop thinking that your damn road is so different. You know, Doc sitting there talking. He's a doctor with a PhD. Father's a doctor with a PhD, several degrees and stuff. His mother, like you say, is an avid person that walked the halls with all these distinguished people and stuff like that. And you listen to his life. He didn't just give up. Doc's a dope fiend, jailbird, thug. West Baltimore, we called him Crazy Ted. He walked around. His weapon of choice was what, Doc?
Sawed-off shotgun.
We knew Ted from running around on his belt. Everybody that was around there knew it's in the summertime. It's 80 degrees outside. He got on lambskin. What the hell's wrong with it?
It's crazy.
You remember that, Doc? Yeah, it was crazy. They
that long leather coat.
He had that lamb on because he had a shotgun. We all knew he had a shotgun. But people's situations aren't always as easy. CC is smart. When you see her now, she's smart. CC was raised on Norfolk Fulton and spent all her teenage years on Park Heights. You know what I mean? Gene has run over there with an educated family and stuff like that. I tell you, it's the funniest thing I always say this to y'all, whether you pay no attention or not. I know Gina from being like a boy. I know Gina, when we came up, we rode horses, she rode horses. I know Gina, she fought, we fought. She swam with the guy, she swam. We played dodgeball, she played dodgeball. I know Gina, not from her feminine side, she always been pretty, but Gina always been rough. She's always been rough, so you don't know. Because when she just now got picked up with Frank Conway and UB Blake as her uncle, you don't know that when you see her as a grown woman. But coming up, Gina always fought. Gina runs around now, y'all, with a whole bunch of stuff, acting like they keys, they weapons. That big chain is a weapon and stuff like that. I mean, I'm proud of her, and I think that she's turned herself, her leaf over, and gave herself to God and all that kind of stuff. But Gina will hit your monkey ass with them keys with the quickness. I'm telling you, I know her. I know her. I'm telling you what I know. So just think that everybody ain't easy. I like to give everybody my path. I'm an ex-West Baltimore drug addict, dope fiend, crack smoking, alcoholic, jailbird thug. Good God shook his dusty ass and became what I am today. Your situation out there, if you dealing with it or you struggling through it, y'all, you ain't got it no worse than anybody else. If you have decided out there in podcast land that you want to take your last drink today, take your last drink today. You decide you don't want to smoke any more crack after the day, don't smoke no more crack after the day. If you that you no longer want to be a bum, that you no longer want to be homeless, that you no longer don't want to not have a job, take your dumb ass down McDonald's. They paying $15 and they fucking hiring. Excuse me. They're hiring. Start today. You ain't got no damn monopoly on misery. You ain't got no monopoly on discomfort. You ain't the only person been to jail. And when you run around acting all tough, guess what? You looking at 4 people right here, that is not afraid of you and your tough ass self. So when you run around there acting all tough, I'm Party Marty. I don't care nothing about you. That's Crazy Ted. My wife, Matt, acts real nice and dainty. She's from Norfolk Fulton and Park Heights, and Gina will hit your dumb ass with a bunch of keys that weigh about 15 pounds. So all the stuff that you used to do that work, it ain't working no more. You tried everything else. There's not a Holy Roly Bible toting show. This is not a black show. This is not a white show. It's an informative show. But it's not too late to change.
Not too late.
Not too late. It's not too late. Get out there, yo. Get yourself together. Try plan B. Tried everything else. Try plan B. Try plan B. All right, Gina, what's your second topic?
My second topic, it made me angry to read this story, but I'm gonna read the title first. Suspected.
Wait a minute, hold. Wait a minute, Gina, hold. I said Gina, not CC. Oh. It was a bad topic. I thought you was CC. I thought. When you said it was a bad topic, I thought for a minute I gave the wrong name. I thought I called Cece.
Okay.
I know she meant, Cece gonna tell us something bad. Somebody get ready to be dead. Cece get dead. Go ahead, Gina. Go ahead, Gina.
Look, suspected white supremacists who killed an unarmed African immigrant released on bail after delayed arrest. Everything is right there in the title. I was like, what? Okay, let me give you the
Give it to us again. What was the title again?
Suspected white supremacists who killed unarmed African immigrant released on bail after delayed arrest.
Wow.
Says everything in the title. I was like,
right.
Everything is right there. I was like, okay. First of all, the African immigrant, his name was Adil. I'm sorry. Let me give you his name. Adil. I think it's pronounced Adil. And his last name is, I'm probably messed that up too, but DGHOUGHI. I'm going to pronounce it Dahoji. Dahoji High. Dahoji. Okay, Dahoji. We'll go with that.
Okay.
So Mr. Dahoji was out driving, coming from a gathering with some friends. He's on his way home at 3:40 a.m. on October the 11th. This is in Martindale, Texas, first of all. And he realizes he's made a wrong turn. Now, all of us, if we realize we've made a wrong, we'll pull up in somebody's driveway a little bit, back out, and turn around and go the other way.
That's how you turn around.
Right. 3-point turn. We learned it in driver's ed.
Exactly.
All right. So he pulls up into this driveway to back up. Before he could even back up, this guy, his name is Terry Dwayne Turner. This the white guy. He comes out the house. He is 65. The African immigrant is 31. Mr. Turner comes out the house, runs up to his car, shoots him in the head at such close range. The bullet went through his hand, through his head, out the passenger side door. Okay, that's how close he was. So he killed him. And I mean, the police come, everything, they take him away and everything, but they do not arrest Mr. Turner. They say they needed to do an investigation. What investigation did you need to do?
Hey.
The man, he did. And Mr. Turner admitted that he shot him.
Oh, come on, man.
But wait a minute. That was the 11th. They did not get a warrant for his arrest until the 24th. They did not, and I'm going to read this to you. So why, pray tell, did it take until the 24th for an arrest warrant for Turner to be issued? And why, when the authorities had his address, what he allowed to turn himself in, he turned himself in the next day, the 25th. Okay? And instead of the cops coming to his house and kicking his door in and just with a whole mob of cops and arresting him, they called him up on the phone and told him to come to the police station. and turn yourself in. 2 weeks. 2 weeks later. Then, if that's not enough of a slap in the face, they hold him for a whole, 48 hours. And he's back out now on $150,000 bail.
On a murder.
On a murder. Admitted to murder. Admitted at close range. All the man did was pull up in the driveway. The man, and first Turner lied and said that Mr. Dahoji had a gun. They didn't find no gun. They didn't find no weapons or anything, no drugs, nothing in this man's car. So they figured out that was a lie. And they still did not arrest him on sight. Why? Let me tell you.
Okay.
Because of his skin color.
Yeah.
He killed this man simply because he pulled up into the driveway to make a 3-point turn. This is the society we live in now, y'all. This is, I mean, it unnerved me so I couldn't even sleep after I read this. I was up drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. I was just upset. I'm serious. I couldn't believe it. This is, and the thing is, the police are enabling the bad guy. They basically are saying, "Oh, that's okay. Well, you'll be all right. Well, when you go to court, I know you killed him. I know. We'll be all right."
That's the in my mind now, Gene, I call it the Brian Laundrie effect now. Because had they arrested him when they were supposed to, one, he may be still alive, and two, they would have brought that girl's killer to justice. But there is just.
Oh, have you heard the latest on that one?
Renee said, "Don't that sound like the guys who killed Emmett Till?"
Yeah. But now they're trying to say in the Laundrie case that, how they said that he had gone home and packed his bags and came out and leisurely went to the car and put his bags in the car and all of this kind of stuff before he left. Now they're trying to say that it was the parents that were moving around, not him. I read that today.
Meaning moving around, meaning what?
Like, I guess putting stuff in the car or whatever. They, they're trying to say,
and it wasn't him. Just like I said, I know I can be cynical sometimes, but I still don't believe that whole. First they said it was going to take weeks and weeks for them to identify those remains. Then the very next day, they came out and said, "Oh, the dental remains. I think there's a toothless Brian Laundrie running around out here somewhere." So that's just me.
Didn't Gina Lee, paramedic, said that the bodies don't decompose that quick. No, CC says that as a joke, but it's the truth. If you could take out all my teeth and I could go live somewhere in Guam for the next 20 years instead of being hung and killed, I'm toothless. Give me some dentures.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Some of this is unbelievable, and it's ironic how Renee Goodwin came up with it. My wife came up. This reminds us of that situation. Like I'm saying, ain't a black show or a white show, but I do want y'all to know the people of Wonderful Persuasion getting away with a lot of bullshit. Getting away with a lot of shit just because you're wonderful.
They got white supremacists out here now that are so full of hate that it's actually very scary. It's frightening, because it means that not only do you need to be armed and ready, but if you needed to defend yourself, who is going to defend you? You see
Wow.
who is going? That's
Nobody.
the scary part. It's not
Nobody.
the fact that I couldn't defend myself, but who's going to defend me after I nailed this so-and-so to the wall with this crossbow I got at the door?
Mm-hmm.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
you know,
Who's
that's
going
why
to defend me?
that's why so many people think that, you know, and you know, we gotta be careful what we say on these platforms. But that's why so many people think that a civil war is inevitable with the things that are happening in the world today, because these are not your beautiful people from 1950. You know, this is not the same animal, because with the things that we have been through, the things that we go through on a daily basis, and a lot of it at the hands of people who are supposed to protect us. You know,
Right.
we are just of the mentality now where we'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know,
Exactly.
so
It's just, I mean, it's really, it's like, okay, I mean, at one time you would think if I really was out somewhere and somebody accosted me and I ended up having to, you know, defend myself to the point where they, you know, passed away or something, but I had to. I mean, it's hard to believe that we've gotten to a point now that I've got to prove my credibility.
right, it's even the double standard even applies when it comes down to self-defense. You know, some people can just say that some people can say I was defending myself and be taken at their word, just like in the instance of your story, you know. And then some of us, you know, we know that if we defend ourselves, we gotta have it on tape, we gotta have it recorded, and then that still may not be enough, you know, because sometimes they'll believe anything over their lying eyes. So sometimes that doesn't even work, you know. So
And then I mean, like I was just reading another story about we have, I think there are 3 George Floyd statues around, you know, and they've been moving them because they have continued to be vandalized, you know, and they've just made an arrest yesterday for the guy that threw the paint on the George Floyd statue that was at Union Square.
But when they took that whose statue was that, Gene? That escapes me right now. But down there in Fells Point, where they took the statue and threw it in the harbor,
Christopher Columbus.
They went in there and dug Christopher Columbus out of the daggone inner harbor and said, "No, y'all will not." You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine how much money that must have cost? Can you imagine how much they paid to get that statue back out of there? Ridiculous. You know, some of these,
and he shouldn't have a statue to begin with.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, he discovered America. He was out on 3 ships: the Mayflower, the Nemo, Stanley, something. Yeah, and he out in the middle of the ocean. San Maria. He out in the middle of the ocean. Remember, it's called Finding Directions. Gina, we had that down Kenny card, and that was on the picture. They showed the Indians standing there on Plymouth Rock waving at him out there in the middle of the ocean. How the hell did he discover something if the Indians standing right there on the rock waving at his ass? I mean, some of this stuff that that they told us, just how dumb could we have been? But I got 100 on that test. Who discovered it? Christopher Columbus. I got 100 for that. That's the dumbest shit you ever seen. The Indian is standing on Plymouth Rock. My wife knows that book. Her and I cost me a lot of damn money, $15,000 because of that book. Because Cece saw that called Finding Directions when the next edition had the little girl standing under the Eiffel Tower. That was her dream. Oh, Cece and I, Gene and I had that same book, Finding Directions, in the kindergarten, the first grade, and the second grade. They was called Find Direct. Christopher Columbus was out in the middle of the ocean on some damn boats, and they showed the Indians standing on the shore, waving to him, saying hi, Taka-hey, Taka-hey. And they told him, he discovered America. You out in the middle of the goddamn ocean. How the hell you discover something in the middle of the ocean? That's some, hey, that's some bullshit.
I'm getting ready to walk down the street and discover Walmart right now.
Hey, Jenny, they were some good topics, Jenny. You hit 1,000 with that, Dad. We had a few good topics. Hey, y'all, I hope you enjoy yourself half as much as we do. We got a lot of participation out there. I mean, I'm seeing everybody, CC, they all chiming in. Thank you again. Welcome back.
The whole Perkins on here. Hey, Perkins.
Hey, Perkins, to everybody on there, Jack. I appreciate y'all. This is real talk. You know what I mean? All we want everybody to do is learn something and get smart. You know what I mean? Let Gina do all that research. Let her do that. Let Cece read the Bible. Let Doc go to school. We just gonna sit over here, comment on a few of these topics, and when anybody's talking about it in a regular conversation, we're gonna be able to speak on it. That's all we need to do, be able to speak on it. Gina came up with a heck of a topic. She just came up with two really good topics, and these are topics that you're going to use in your everyday trials and tribulations. Everyday trials and tribulations. There's some things over here that we're talking about that you're going to use tomorrow. The next day, when she was talking about the wonderful person getting away with it, and once again, I'm going to tell y'all, there ain't nobody against white people. I got too many no good black friends that's pieces of shit.
Hello.
You know what I mean? To be against white people. You know what I mean? I ain't no way in the world you're going to go up and convince me all of them bad. I'm going to tell y'all, Clifton T. Perkins, you watch it. Anybody that don't like Richard McPhee just don't like people.
Absolutely.
You don't like Richard McPhee, you just don't like people. He's of the white persuasion. If you don't like McPhee, you just don't like people. Ain't got nothing you don't like white people. You don't like people. He's the easygoingest person you ever meet. Gina Atkins ain't the easiest going person you ever meet, white, black, or green. You know what I mean? But Gina Atkins is one of my best friends, not one of my best white friends. Gina Atkins is one of my best friends in the whole wide world. She's my friend. She just happened to be a Caucasian. You know what I mean? She's my friend. Ain't got nothing to do with white, black, or green. Gina's my friend. I got a lot of white friends. You know what I mean? I see them as individuals. Everybody's an individual. But back to the topic that we're talking about. Yes, y'all being the wonderful people get away with a lot of bullshit. You do. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Ain't nothing wrong. It ain't per se you talking about. It's a privilege that you have. You are awarded a privilege. You know what I mean? I wish I had it. Damn it. Locked me up for something I didn't do. Sent me to jail for child support, and I was court-ordered child support. I wouldn't turned around and told me I ain't had to go. You go off and kill some people in the driveway. They'll tell you stay home for a couple weeks. We're going to lock you up for a day and a half and then go get your orders in the fair, and we'll get back to you. They kept my dumb ass locked up the whole time.
The whole time.
Until I got lucky, y'all. I got lucky. When I was going to jail, you went to jail or you didn't go to jail. But while I was locked up over there dealing with this injustice, this lie, they had something called home monitor. I said, huh? I said, huh? What's that? He said, well, you go home and they monitor you. I said, well, what's that? He said, it's called home monitor. I couldn't even understand. It was the basic, like Gina said when she gave the topic. This guy was a white supremacist and he shot somebody and they let him go home. Some stuff was simple, and I'm saying that it got to be more to it than that. Gina said, I'm going to read the title to you. I'm going to give you a description of what happened, and you still won't believe it. You still won't believe it. The home monitor was home monitoring. You in jail, but they monitor you from home. I said, huh? I said, huh?
That's an algorithm.
Yeah. I said, Gina, I want that. I want that.
Monitor for $500, Alex.
I'll take door number 2, Alex. I said, huh? I said, what I got to do to get on that? You know what I mean? He said, well, you got to do this, and they're going to come to your house, and then in the middle of the night, they're going to call you, and you got to say, basketball, umbrella, barometer. I said, basketball, umbrella, barometer. Huh? What else should they say? When you become a freshman, they see expialidocious. I said, what the hell you want me to say? If I'm gonna stay home, Peter Piper picked the pack up, pick up, said, Peter Piper picked the pack up, pick up, Peter Piper pick. She said, I was down by the seashore to see 6 sailors. All the King's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. I said, I'm going home, y'all. Basketball, umbrella, barometer. And I'm out of here. Ain't that what they do when they lock them up there? They go up and say, you ain't talking to me, and they can't wait. They're in the police station. They tell the police, I'm out of here. I said, huh? Did he just tell the police I'm out of here? And stood up. Officer Grayson would have said, yeah, you out of here. You at the infirmary. That's what they did to the beautiful people. Hit us in our damn mouth. But anyhow, move right along. That's what I'm saying. You learn some things. So y'all, I mean, don't say, I don't like being white because I get a privilege. I'm going to tell Gina and Cece right now, Doc, cover your ears. God damn it, I wouldn't mind being white sometime. Leave y'all black ass alone. Get me some good credit. Get me a 1.3 finance house. You feel me? I ain't gonna buy no new clothes. I ain't gonna buy this darn $30 hat, these $1,400 glasses. I'm gonna get me a $9.99 hat. I'm gonna get me them glasses from what's that glasses store on Ricestown Road?
Charm City Optical.
The worst damn glasses in the world. I'm gonna get some of them. My shirt ain't gonna say Russell on it. Ain't gonna say nothing on it. Y'all wear me some khakis. You know what I mean? I shucks. And Cece running around out there. She had to get a new truck because she ain't never had a new truck. Got 5 miles on it. I want my mother's mother to give me her car. That's how the Caucasians do.
That's
so
what
I ain't running around. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Cece, don't talk too loud because Gina might be listening. Gina was one of the first of us to have a car. When we came up, we drove to the swimming pool. Yep.
1964.
Hey, Cece, it better not rain because the windows didn't go up.
Yep.
Not they didn't go down, they didn't go up.
Yep.
And we'd be riding along and the trunk would pop up in the air. So we fixed that. We put a water jug on the trunk, tied it down, so the trunk wouldn't pop up. But tell Gina, we went to every party. We went. Hey, remember the college drive-in? We go to college drive-in, Gina drive. We be back in that trunk 10 deep, laying there like we dead men. Getting there, lift that trunk up, Jack, and start partying. So ain't nobody gonna knock the hand-me-downs. You know what I mean? See, we can't use this as a good example, but Cece's son Mike, you know what I mean? Oldest son Mike has a hand-me-down. He got Cece's Jeep. But I mean, it wasn't no old Jeeps. He had a relatively new Jeep, but he got that damn thing. He take care of it, Gina. He know that's his car. He ain't getting no another one. He always complained, this ain't right, this ain't right. He wanted to ride like a Lamborghini. He always put it back in the shop. I heard a rubbing noise. I hear something go whoop whoop. It might rub every 2 days. He had a rubbing noise. He put it back in the shop. Because guess what? He ain't making no darn paper. He appreciate the darn car. The truck. Right. He takes care of it.
That's right.
Yeah, he take care of it. He don't get over there and figure out everything. Yeah, he want it right. We don't make no payments on it. He pay the insurance. He paid for everything that goes wrong when he buys his own gas. He's one of the few people that when the next thing in line go, he got another hand-me-down coming to him. Because we appreciate him.
Yeah,
he ain't running around begging. He asking for a handout. Nah, I ain't asking for a handout. I'm just asking for a hand. He take this stuff and go. So to all you person of the wonderful persuasion out there, ain't nobody ragging on y'all or telling you that you should be ashamed of where you are or the situation that you've been placed in, good luck for you.
Right.
Damn right, hands up to you. You didn't ask for it. You didn't tell your parents to be Caucasian. You didn't tell nobody to give you good credit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Good luck to you. Hey, Cece. Oh, God. I don't even. All right, wait a minute.
You ain't say that when Gina was the bad news bad, so fix your face.
But Gina's bad news wasn't your bad news.
Fix your
Gina
face.
had mediocre bad news.
Mm-hmm.
When Cece finished, she gonna call a cow by their name. 6 people gonna be dead. And no, you know what? No. Podcast land. I'm wrong. Let's go off and give Cece a chance for a stereotyper. Hey, Cece, there we go. I was wrong. I apologize.
Yes,
we simply us. What's your topic today? Let's talk. What you got for us?
Nobody's dead in this story. Let me start off with that. Okay. CPS called on concerned parents is my topic.
Child Protective Services, somebody beaten, abused, rape, molest, and abandoned. Hello, CC. Here we go.
No, C-O ye of little faith. Let me explain first. In Washington, D.C., excuse me, a family in Washington, D.C. was reported to Child Protective Services by the city's public school system for educational neglect because they kept their unvaccinated children who were not old enough to be vaccinated home from school over COVID-19 safety concerns. They said that the policies for the school district were very vague and that everyone was scrambling to decide what they would do. But some of their concerns were broken heating, ventilation and air conditioning systems, and no plan for outdoor eating. So they opted to keep their children at home. They had been in touch with the school system and let them know what their concerns were and that they were opting to keep their children at home. But remote learning was not an option as the city requires doctor certification to prove that such supplemental education is necessary. So you had to have a doctor's excuse in order to keep the kids home during COVID. And there were no exceptions. This was always the school system's policy, and there were no exceptions made for COVID. So these parents who were just keeping their children home out of concern and an abundance of caution were investigated by Child Protective Services, and they asked them questions that were unrelated to COVID, like what's their monthly income, where's the children's father, what's their mental health status. The lady said at one point a social worker asked her to prove that her children had places to sleep and food to eat. Now these weren't homeless people, you know what I'm saying? Like they were in this woman's home, so obviously they knew that they had places to sleep. But all of this because they decided to keep their children home from school. And they said other DC parents have told certain news outlets that the same situation has happened to them, and that they think that the school should be more flexible in determining when to involve Child Protective Services. So that was what
I get it. I'll get it.
That was my story. And what really made that story catch my eye is because Sugar Mama Jones is usually
right.
I think she had a schedule change with work, so she hasn't been with us as much lately. But when I read that story, that my mind immediately went to her, because people homeschool their children all the time. Some people literally only do homeschooling for their children, and now it's a problem because of these COVID mandates. Hey, Maurice. that you don't have the right to keep your child at home because you feel like the school environment is an unsafe environment. To me, I thought that that was probably one of the most ridiculous things that I ever heard. And then there's people out here beating their children to death, starving their children to death, and nobody will call CPS on them. The school system, these children that are out here truant for no reason, these are children that are at home getting abused and molested and all of this stuff. Look how long it takes the system to intervene in those cases. But in the case of parents that are simply trying to keep their children safe, then they decided that they would call Child Protective Services on these people. I thought that that was unbelievable.
Good topic.
Was it the school system that called on them, or
it was the school
who?
system?
Do you know?
They said that if any child missed a certain amount of days, that they had to call Child and Family Services, and they said that this situation is affecting at least 90 families in the DC public school system.
And let's let Gina Lee comment on that. That's not true because wait a minute, Gina.
Yeah,
let me give you a segue in. Gina was telling us about, she did a report on families. Goddamn, those guys, that one guy missed about 100 days out of school and nobody contacted anybody. So that's not true.
Nobody. Mm-hmm. Not a day soul. And it's still going on. It's still going on at Augusta Feld Elementary School. As we said, we have a common friend, Sugar Mama Jones, who is in the same situation, is concerned about the school where her children go are not giving the parents the true information regarding COVID infections in that school. They're not giving them the truth. They're trying to hide the infection rate so that you can keep sending your kids to school. And she's concerned. I would be too as a parent. So, but like you say, the situation is, if she does, is she gonna fall into this type of situation? And she's been trying to get somebody with some authority to, at least address the school and make them come clean with all the numbers. Because the parents need to know, if you have 40% of your population in that school who have tested positive, then I need to know as a parent.
Absolutely. My whole issue with this is that I personally know people who homeschool their children. So I don't understand. This is not like truancy. This is not these kids are absent and nobody knows what's going on. These families have been in touch with school administrators, voiced their concerns, told them why they were hesitant to send their children back to school, and have offered to homeschool their children. So, just like we were talking about Sugar Mama Jones, but you gonna tell me that I don't have the right to homeschool my child? They have homeschool packages so that the child can keep up with the age-appropriate curriculum, and the school system is supposed to provide those to people who homeschool their children. So I don't understand why this would even be an issue. And to get CPS involved, and Maurice worked for Child Protective Services. Once you get them people, start getting them all up in your mix and up in your business, it's a nightmare. You know
Let
what
me
I'm
tell
saying?
you all something. It's called, they have a computer. I apologize, CC. I'm
Mhm.
Baltimore City Child Protective Service Transportation Supervisor. If you're from Baltimore or North and Howard, you deal with Child Protective Services, extended hours. I was a transportation supervisor. That was me. I headed up their department. They got a computer there. We call it Sadie. It's called Sadie. Let me tell you something, Jack. Sadie holds your information forever. If you just now make a call on me, I can make a call on Gina. She not know that it's even made. I can be right mad at her right now and call on Gina. Say, I think that Gina's I wouldn't say that she is abusing these kids, but I believe that they keep being dirty all the time, and I see her leave them all the time. But I can't physically say that I've seen this happen. But I just want to put it on the record. You know, they'll take that. They won't say nothing, Gina, nobody. Guess what? They put it in Sadie. When your daughter gets in trouble and they need somebody to go watch the kids, you'll say, well, that's all right. She can stay with us until she do that. When they go looking at Gina, you know you just had a complaint against you 4 years ago that you have nothing to do with, and they said the kids can't stay with you because you have a love complaint. You say, well, the hell, I got a love complaint. I ain't got no complaint. Didn't nobody, well, you had an allegation back in 2001. Ain't nobody say nothing to me. They ain't got to say nothing to you. You think that the courts or something? Child Protective Services and Sadie got your information on your ass. Stays in there. You feel me? So that little allegation that them people made, guess what? It worked. If that was their job to go off and change their life and get some documentation, they did.
And how is it, and how and why is it educational neglect? Because I don't let you teach my child. You know what I'm saying? If I come to you and say, I want a homeschool packet because I don't think that this is a safe environment for my child, so I'm a teacher myself. How is that educational neglect? I mean, that make sense.
Karen and Andre, my niece, my nephew and niece, my nephew is Andre and his lovely wife Karen, who was also the pastor that married us. Let me tell you something. They homeschool all their kids, and all them smart as shit, ain't they?
Right.
They all smart as hell. You know what I mean? They all made out just fine. And they not their normal homeschool people. You know what I mean? The Holy Roly Bible told us for one. But you gonna do way more being homeschooled by them two than you'll ever get done in an 8-hour course at school. Are you kidding?
Absolutely. And then you know, most school districts across the country, one of the big problems is overcrowding in the classrooms. So you don't think that child will get a quality education, one, from somebody that loves them, two, for somebody that is genuinely has a genuine stake in their well-being, and three, with them just them and two of them and their brother and their sister, as opposed to them and 50 other children in the classroom. I mean, some of this stuff just, it don't add up, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's so true. That's a good
And
topic today,
like
too.
you said, Party Martin, if you remember the story you did about, when you went to the house for a child or something, you used this as an example. Who did that child see?
Yeah,
The child told, an adult. Then who did they see? An adult. And who's going to help them? An adult. Okay. So in this situation, like you say, they've now put this child in a situation that they've got to live with the ramifications, like you say, Party Marty, of sometime down the road, if it were to come up that somebody made an allegation that this happened. So here comes another adult to take them out the house and put them in a foster care environment.
A lot of the kids. That's right, Gina. That's a good point. Thank you for remembering it. A lot of these kids and stuff like that in their life, they see us as the enemy. All adults in their lives have beaten, abused, raped, molested, or abandoned them. Let me get it to you again. The adults in their lives have beaten, abused, raped, molested, or abandoned them. That's how, I gave you the story, the scenario, Baltimore City Child Protective Services. Karen is a kid that's at school. She's a good kid. She's a bright kid. She's doing good. And she plays and has fun and laughs and jokes. And all of a sudden, the teacher started noticing she's falling off with her work. She's wandering. She's looking around and daydreaming. She's not the same. So the teacher says, what's wrong with you, Karen? You know what I mean? You just got a 60 on the test that you usually get 100 on. She said, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. A week or so go by. She keep asking what's wrong. So then eventually Karen confides in it. Said, what's wrong? Karen said, listen, I just want to let you know that my Uncle Jim fondles me when I go to the bathroom. You know, Uncle Jim ain't really an uncle. You know, Uncle Jim is. Who's Uncle Jim, y'all, in podcast land?
Her mother boyfriend.
Mother boyfriend. You told called him Uncle Jim. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Uncle Jim fondled him. So she finally tells her teacher, her favorite teacher. This is the law. The favorite teacher now has to tell the principal. The principal has to call the police. The police have to call Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services has to go send the social worker and me, the Child Protective Service transportation person, to go over there and talk to the people at school. By now, school is over with. Karen is home, skating up and down the street, doing whatever she can, playing normal. We come to the house. We go over there and talk to Uncle Jim. We say, Uncle Jim, it's an allegation going on. What you talking about? I ain't touching. She lying. The mother sitting right there. What's the mother gonna say? She lying. She ain't did that. You keep making stuff up. She's a liar. She got 5 kids. Why is she not gonna let Uncle Jim leave? Uncle Jim pays the gas and electric. Uncle Jim buys the 40s of beer. Uncle Jim buys her weed. Uncle Jim is her comforter. You feel me? So she calls the child alive. So we don't have the authority to lock Uncle Jim up. Jim gotta go to court. We go get her off the street playing with her friends and take her somewhere and put her in an overnight stay until we find out what we're going to do with the Child Protective Services. So what did she do? She went over and confided in her teacher, an adult. The teacher told the principal, an adult. The principal told Child Protective Services, an adult. The Child Protective Services got the police, an adult, who sent the social worker, an adult, who went and got me, an adult, and we took her out of the home and put her away. She's had dealing with 6 or 7 adults, and every last one of them, Uncle Jim, her mother beat her, Uncle Jim abused her, raped, then we molested her, and then when it's all over, we abandoned them. We are the enemy. Yeah, we put her away. Then I put her away. Now she's locked up. She don't know she's someplace else. She's not playing with her friends anymore. She's over there playing over there with Miss Johnson. Shout out to the great Miss B. Gaddy. Rest in peace. Miss B. Gaddy was an overnight person. She was my personal friend. I used to take so many kids to her. She never let me down. All we know about B. Gaddy is feeding the homeless and stuff for Thanksgiving. Everybody that didn't know, Miss B. Gaddy was an incredible woman. Was an incredible woman. I know her personally. How you doing, Miss Gaddy? How you doing, Party? She took child's at-risk kids from me. But anyhow, these are all the adults in her life. So when you come over there and Billy Jim Bob on the corner stand there flexing, buying her a chicken box, getting her a pair of tennis, who the hell you think she want to be friends with? Their mother and them who just did that to him, or Jim Bob, the leader of the Bloods in MF-19? That's how we lost them. That's powerful, son. That's how we lost them. We lost them. The adults in their lives are beaten, abused, raped, molested, or abandoned. When we came along, Gina and I, they locked them up. When we came along, you know what they did when somebody did something to you? What we say, Gina, your parents say, find the adult, tell the adult. But what do you do when the adult is the one that's doing it to you?
Absolutely.
Hey, Daddy, can I say something to you?
Wait a minute. Come on, sit in. Come in. Hey, y'all, we got a guest in. This is my oldest son, Maurice. Call him Everest. He has something that he wants to comment on.
Peace. I just want to talk about the school part, not the abuse part. That's powerful, what my father just said, because at the end of all that, they locked her up. They put her away in a place where she ain't had no friends, no parents, no nothing. And that's powerful. That messes a kid up. Is enough said about that. But the school system, I like to talk about solutions. There is a solution. The solution, first of all, lies in the adults who have abandoned and messed things up. And the solution focuses on the greed of the politicians. You have to understand something. When COVID first came out, those kids were all homeschooling. My wife is a teacher. They had her doing the video classes, like 30, 40 students, by the way. No teachers help her. didn't explain to her how to do the Google classes or how to do the Skype classes, and she's trying to be an IT tech. Lucky she had me as a husband. Everybody doesn't have that, but she's trying to do IT tech and teach kids and things of that sort. So she was at Belmont, by the way. I don't mind naming names, okay? But when she went to another school, a friend of hers left Belmont because of the resources and the issues. Went to another school, a county school. I'm just going to say this, a white school. And they had an additional person in the room who was making sure, hey, you're not raising your hand, what you doing, et cetera, while she was teaching. And they had a guy who they can call on call. Oh, we have IT problems. Who's doing it? He'll show up online, fix their problems, or walk the teacher to the problem and get back to class. At home, so you have to understand something. The issue is we don't have an issue. You can teach those kids from home. You really can. It can be done. All right. Having the kids in a physical classroom in a school deals with money. That's all it deals with. Just money. Okay. We saw this with the governor forced them to go back to school when the COVID issue, we were in the middle of it. So it's all about the money. Okay. So teachers can school kids from home. That has been proven if you have the right infrastructure. A technician near for the IT issues, additional teachers aid online to make sure the disciplinary things while the teacher is teaching school. This can happen. And what you can do if you still want physical kids to go to school, send your kids that are having issues, your autistic kids or kids that we may suspect having issues at home, send them to school. So what you have is a lower school population, easily manageable by the teachers who do physically come to school. Pay those teachers a little bit more because they have to expose themselves to COVID and everything else, okay? And then the other teachers can stay home and teach the kids that don't have a problem at home, who don't have a problem with technology, who aren't what we call, a little behind the curve. You know what I'm saying? And we can manage both by balance. And we keep getting these ultimatums. It's either one way the kids go to school or not. Now, I said that separate from remote schooling is different from homeschooling. Difference. And with homeschooling, the issue we have is not everybody's my cousin Andre. They're not. So you have some people who I don't want my kids to go to school, I'm gonna homeschool them, and they really don't. And so when those kids go to take those tests that require them to get into college, like SATs and things like that, they fail. And then we look at homeschool and say, well, homeschooling is not, well, everybody's not qualified to homeschool. So what we need is for parents to be able to pass a test to qualify to homeschool. And they have to know that these are benchmarks. Your kids, if they're homeschooling, have to take these state tests by these times and pass them to continue to be homeschooled. Simple as that. I just laid out a plan to you guys. The politicians already know that this can be done. It's all about the money. So at this point, the only thing that's going to change is I don't want to say a revolution. I'm that type of person. I would say that, but what I'm going to say is this: we need a protest against the local politicians who are getting their pockets fat off these schools, who are the principals who are snubbing the numbers and all that kind of stuff. We just caught one woman, I forgot the name of the school, but we just caught her, right? Snubbing her and her vice president, snubbing the numbers of who's really coming to school or who's testing high or not. And we have to go back to that. We have to have a standard. When I went to school, if you had a 65 or below, you failed. You failed. Okay, you went to summer school. Okay, all right. If you had 75 to 80, you went to a technical school or a local school. You got 80% or above, you can go to City, Poly, all those prestigious schools. We need to get back to those basics. We need to separate the difference between remote schooling and homeschooling, and we need to start to say, hey, for people who do go to school, this is for the kids that really need it because they have issues at home or they're behind the learning curve. And the normal kids from normal and above, they can sit at home and they can be schooled online because they have the ability to do so. That is the solution.
Good point, son.
Peace.
Hands up. Hands up. That young man is my oldest son. That's Lil Maurice to the world. That's my oldest son. And Yeah, my son is almost 50 years old. Run, tell it.
Now
All right,
let me just say this in response to what Maurice just said. I absolutely agree that there is a solution, and that was a very well thought out plan. You could tell his wife is a teacher, and I think that there should definitely be, for those that want to homeschool their children, there should be testing to make sure that they are qualified to perform the job, or there should be training to prepare them to handle the job. But I think that as a parent, in light of the safety concerns that these parents are citing with the school, that it should be an option.
Yeah. Who some can make it. Tajay, my granddaughter, Tajay is my granddaughter. Cody's my great granddaughter. Tajay's smart as I don't know what. When I say smart, Tajay is smart, but she didn't do well homeschool. Her mother said she played
remote learning.
Remote learning. Well, yeah, she did good at remote learning. Yeah, thank you. That's what he was saying. He made mention of that. There's a difference between remote learning and homeschool. Homeschool is meaning you're being taught at home. Gina's family is a bunch of educators, so they wouldn't have no problem homeschooling you. They homeschool everybody.
Right,
you know
and that's what I'm saying. You can't lump everybody into the same box. Now, should they make sure that these parents are actually qualified to meet these benchmarks to teach these children at home? Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
But you know, I found out something else too when I talked about this on an episode. Is piggybacking on what Maurice said, is money. I would say, why do they want these kids back in school? It's money.
Yeah.
The bus drivers get paid again. The school bus helpers get paid again. Gasoline is in the buses. They get paid again. They stop at 7-Eleven to get a cup of coffee. They get paid again. The janitors in the building. They get paid again. The grass get cut. They get paid again. All these schools right now that they rebuilding, can you imagine how many millions of dollars they spent to put together Calverton? Gina been telling me about it forever. I finally saw it the other day. Calverton looks like Yale University.
Forest Park.
Tell me
Forest Park is nice.
Forest Park is nice.
Man, I went by Calverton. I looked at Calverton. It don't even look like no junior high school. It look like a university. It looks like from the sidewalk to the door to take you 20 minutes. It's got such a grand entrance up there. It's like magnificent. It's like, remember Dorothy and them went to the Wizard of Oz? You know what I mean? How you had to walk up to the thing. It's got this big grand entrance. They probably spent $50,000 on bricks to walk up to the school. So it's all kind of money that's being allocated with this stuff. And you know, it's jobs out there, son. It's jobs that'll never come back again. I want you to think about that. There's lots of moonbounce companies like we own that'll never be again. It's stores that'll never open their doors. Businesses that have been around the families for 100 years. You know, let's think about a few. How about I always make mention of this.
The toll booth.
The toll booth people. And people never again in life will come back to work. Why would they give them money over there? Why would they pay them again if we've been riding through that thing and they taking a picture, sending it to you? Everybody got an easy pass.
The issue to address that is that as a people, we have to understand that we have to evolve. It's like coal miners. We don't need that industry anymore. So instead of just saying, "Oh, we don't need you anymore," and we're closing the doors, we take that industry, retrain them on something else, and like the coal miners can be retrained to work the machines and making the machines that now will be taking their jobs.
Yeah.
So with, like you said, the bus drivers won't have as many people and stuff like that. But what there's an increase in is things like Instacart or DoorDash, because the kids being home and the parents being home, they got to order food now. Or you can pay some of the parents who don't have a job. They could become online students aides or teacher aides, and you can pay them.
Yeah. You know, we got
to come up with new innovative ways to supplement the ending of things and the fear of it.
We had an extra guest today. My son. Hands up for my son, Everest, jumping in there, participating. Hands up. Good job, Maurice. Hey, listen, y'all. We all we want to do is give out information. Get smart. Give out information. Y'all hear my son talking now. My son is a knowledgeable person, but my son, tell him, is a radical. Gina, he's a radical. My son is a paid astrologist. He'll tell you it was okay today, but Saturn was in the third moon, and that's why crazy as a loon and stuff like that. My son is very, very intelligent, but he's self-taught. He, like myself, like my wife and like Gina, he just reads. So any topic that you're talking about with my son, he's going to have an opinion on it. And I'm going to tell you, 8 out of 10, I don't agree with. Brian Samuels over there, 8 out of 10 with Brian Samuels, I don't agree with. My good friend, what's his name over there? Raynor Roberts got a PhD, 8 out of 10 with Raynor Roberts, I don't agree with. But if you think for a minute that you ain't going to learn something from my son, from Raynor Roberts, from Brian Samuels, then you a damn fool. You're a damn fool. Get yourself in a position where these people that have something to talk about, listen to some of the topics and they give you their opinion. Your opinion may not be the same as their opinion, but their opinion is a good opinion. So you need to take it with a grain of salt and figure out what's going on today. Hey, listen, y'all, hands up to another great show. Hands up to a great show. We get on here, y'all, and you don't even know. We be on here 2 hours all the time. All the time. Gina Lee, out of the rest of us relaxing. Gina Lee got to get ready to leave. Gina Lee got a job. She got to go to work, get off, and go back to work.
That's right, Gina. I got some work I got to do too today. My husband
I bet most of it's going to be done in Walmarts too, ain't it? My wife, she already told me we got top Walmart.
Don't believe it. You my customers that I gotta bring baskets to. I'm coming. Don't listen to the driver.
Yeah, Renee. Shout out to Renee always. Shout out to Miss Renee. She's always participating in there, and we thank Cunningham.
She said she's the only one still here.
Yeah, after a couple hours, you know what I mean. We kill them, but you learn something.
They jump in and out.
But one good thing about this thing is down, CC, and we found out they all will watch the replay, won't they?
Yeah.
We got so many people to watch the replay. If they don't get it, Karen Cunningham say, I didn't get to see it, but I'm watching the replay. Sugar Mama Jones, I didn't see it, but I'm watching the replay. Now, BB, I was at work. I'm watching the replay. So we thank everybody for it. All right, closing thoughts. Gina, take us home. Closing thoughts.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to your first topic.
Okay.
You gotta have faith, y'all. Just like Job in the Bible. You gotta have faith. You cannot do anything without your faith. Because if the devil or Satan or whoever you want to call him, or whatever it is, distracts you, and you can't complete what it is that you know is the right thing to do. You know it's the right thing. If they can distract you, you won't be able to complete that. You've got to rely on your faith. That's it.
So true, dude. That's it. That's a good thing. CC, closing thoughts.
First of all, continue to wear the damn mask. We're still in a pandemic and COVID is still running rampant. I don't care what they tell you. So please continue to protect yourself and those around you. And I just like to share a story. You know, my closing thoughts are always on random acts of kindness. And yesterday, a random act of kindness was bestowed upon me and Maurice. And I'm going to let him tell you the story because I just have to mention this. Go ahead and tell him what happened, baby.
You know, we went to the doctor's yesterday. And I got to the doctor. I pulled up in a parking space. There wasn't much room. So I pulled up in the parking space, and the lady came around to the door, and she said, "Excuse me, sir, could you move just a little bit just so I could get her out?" Her mother was in the car. You know, she was paraplegic in a wheelchair. Don't necessarily have to be a paraplegic. She was an elderly person. And I said, okay, and I let my wife know so she could get out. And when I went to juggle to move the car around, there still wasn't enough room. So I backed all the way out and, you know, got myself together. When I came over, I saw her get out with the wheelchair. And she got out with the wheelchair doing what she was doing. Told my wife to go ahead and sign us in. And this lady doesn't know what I'm doing. We do this for a living. I'm a CNA, GNA. This is what we do. We work in the medical field, hospitals and stuff. So when she was over there unstrapping the lady. I was, how you doing, miss? Have a good day, stuff like that. I see you over here, got your daughter. We're on our way to this appointment. So at that time, I started helping the lady out. I helped her get the lady in the chair. And while she's doing it, she said, thank you, mister. At this time, I know I go to this doctor's in this, it's 2 entrances. You go on one side to go down the steps. The other side is the elevator. So while she's getting her mother out, well, we already got her out, and then while she's adjusting the seat and all that, I took her mother in the wheelchair, took her out, took her up the hill, rolled up the ramp, got over to the other side where the elevator was, and she's looking, and she said, thank you, sir. Okay, miss, have a good day. I don't know no better. I was raised this way. This was just plain old-fashioned normal to me. So I went over and did what I had to do, and we went off. Then we come down, and there's several doctors in this building. We just happened to be in the same office as she was, seeing the same doctor. So we go over there. We go to log in. We have the same person we always see as the receptionist. She wasn't there. They go off and tell us that we have $120 bill balance. So I said, not a problem. It's for what? And she said, for visits. And I said, for visits, a copay, right? See, she said, your copay. I said, first of all, I don't have a copay. And second of all, I got number one insurance. I'm retired from the state. I got Blue Cross and Blue Shield care provider. Number one, I don't owe you nothing. But I didn't say it like I said, miss, well, whatever it is, just tell us. She said, yeah, it's just $15 copay. And I said, miss, first of all, since COVID's been up, we ain't been in the building in over 2 years. All our appointments been online. This is the first time I've been back in the building. I'm back in the building because we got to get another physical because it's time we want to get the booster shot. We're there to set up for the booster shot. We into these shots. They said that the booster shot was out. My wife got online. I'm going to get it. That's why we in here, because they had to physically see us. So to cut the story down, she said, okay, like it's $130. I said, okay, so, just tell me what it's for. And I'm pulling out my card. She said it's for $15 copays. Now, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, but math is my thing. You talking about 8 or 9 visits. I only go in there every 6 months. So, I mean, what are they back from 2015? Why are you saying I owe you this money? I got my card, man. I'm going to pay you whatever it is. But I can't imagine at $15, and I haven't been in the building, how I can run up a bill of $130 when we come here all the time, and we never had a bill. Every time we got a bill, we pay it. My wife pays them people. You feel me? Right, we pay them. So she said, she's explaining all that. I said, okay, miss, here it is. And when I went to reach up to pay, the other lady who I just helped out with her mother handed the lady the card. And she said, no, you're next. She said, no, this is for him. And she said, no, the receptionist said, no, miss, you're next. I'm still dealing with him. Here's my card. I want to pay whatever it is that he owes. Water's going to come to my heart and come to my eyes. She said, I want to pay whatever it is. Take that $130 out of there. And she looked at me and I said, I'm standing with my card in my hand. I ain't broke, but I got enough money to pay that. So I went over there. She said, no, I want to pay this. And she gives this lady the card and she paid my doctor's bill, whatever it was. And my wife preaches this. It's called the random act of kindness. I was kind to that lady when I helped her get her mother out of the car. I didn't do a thing she going to give me no $140, $130, $150. I didn't do that for that. But my random act of kindness that I don't know no better, I did the only thing that I know how to do. My mother would have hit me upside my head if I didn't help that lady get out the car. My mother would have slapped the shit out of me if you didn't hold the door open. My wife gets in the car every day. You look stupid as hell if I ain't standing there opening the door. I open the door for my wife every time she gets in the car, and I shut the door, open the door when she comes and goes. Y'all call them random act of kindness. We call it common sense, being a man. You feeling me? But that random act of kindness that I did, that lady turned around and paid my doctor's bill. Hands up for that lady. Hands up.
And guess what? And in my closing thought, I wanted him to tell that story to simply say that that was a living example of what I always preach about random acts of kindness. Because, first of all, you never know how you'll be blessed just by performing a simple, kind act for a stranger. That lady paid that bill. She never even asked him his name, you know?
Nope.
So it was just that the blessing was he performed a random act of kindness, and it was paid forward. It was paid back immediately. So what I said, what I'm saying this to say that we don't perform random acts of kindness to be compensated or to be glorified. But when you do something just from the kindness of your heart for no reason at all, you never know how God will bless you.
Isn't it ironic too? How Karen Cunningham is still Miss. She's Cunningham on that, but her real name is Miss Taylor. Her husband slapped shit out of her. Keep putting the name of Cunningham. My wife, they call me Mr. Beatty in the doctor's office sometimes. Miss Beatty, Maurice Tates and Sans Ray Beatty. How you doing, Mr. Beatty? I'm Mr. Beatty now. You know what I mean? But because of sometimes you got so many of these bills now and stuff like that, these wives scared to change their name on stuff, on the passport, on this. I'm Mr. Beatty. But Karen Cunningham is a prime example. Gina, we ate chicken. We went to see Harriet Tubman, remember?
Yeah.
When we went to see her, we ate chicken, French fries, we ate chips, we had sodas, we drank wine. Karen Cunningham paid for that. Cunningham said, y'all, we wanted her to go to trip. She couldn't go, so she said, I'm going to pay for lunch for everybody. We ate like runaway slaves, didn't we, Gina? Yeah. A random act of kindness, just an act of kindness. BB said, I can't go, so give the ticket to somebody else. Gave it to Karen Cunningham. Karen Cunningham acted kindness, moved on, went and gave some money for Doc, paid for this, and paid for our lunch. Just a random act of kindness. Isn't it funny that a random act of kindness, when we're talking about it today, is one of the kindest people that we know to the show?
Yeah.
Karen Cunningham and BB. Isn't that ironic? Miss Renee Goodman, we're gonna meet her today, who's a random act of kindness, buys all these baskets and stuff from us. And pays it forward, always put an extra $5 up past the Rhonda, pays it forward all the time. It's just ironic, you know what I mean? We always close out with our closing thoughts. All right, to our guest today, Maurice, closing thought for the panel.
It's always good to have faith, but faith without works is dead. So, you can believe all you want, but you need to know. And once you have knowledge, you don't have to rely on belief anymore because you know. So today we had to know, we had to be informed, we had to be knowledgeable so that the faith that laid the foundation for the knowledge can be expressed with something that blossoms into something, a blessing. And we're not getting that right now. And it's mostly from our politicians. So we have to get more politically aware so that our faith can work.
Y'all notice as I'm saying, I have a gang of kids. I have 5 kids. And you know what's ironic? No 2 of my children are alike. My son is a militant. He's old. He's 49, going on 50 years old. Son's a militant. But he's an avid reader. He's a paid astrologist. He's a speaker. That's what he does. You know what I mean? He does regular stuff, CDLs and IT. He's a geek and all that kind of stuff. But that's what he does. You know what I mean? My wife is intelligent. My wife reads catch-up bottles. I'm going on 65. My wife is 46. There's nowhere in the world I would have thought. I just been telling you, my son is 49 and my wife is 46. My wife is my children's age. She ain't nothing like my kids though. She old as hell. She's the oldest young person you'll ever meet. She don't do nothing. We don't go to Melbourne. She don't do any of that kind of stuff. My wife is an old soul, and she got an old husband, and she loves me, right, baby?
Absolutely.
You know, so that's my situation. Gina Lee is my friend from the kindergarten. It's my friend from the kindergarten. She's smart. She's a award-winning actress. She's an award-winning podcast person. She's retired from the state of Maryland. She's a degree-carrying person. She's highly intelligent. I challenge y'all to improve on your circle. No, you are who you with, y'all. If you see that your direction isn't good, come on, man, change your direction. If you go over there, I used to fool with them girls back in the day, Maurice. Remember, you go over them freaks' house, you got your car, you leave your. And only thing that came in them girls' house with you was your keys. Your wallet stayed in the car. You hid everything. You went in the house, you had keys and 2 condoms. That was it. That was your circle. You want to know why you ended up running around with all them bums? Because you put yourself around with a bunch of bums all the time. How come I kept going back to jail? I got used to being a jailbird. How come I was on crack cocaine? Because everybody I fooled with was on crack cocaine. Got a better circle now. I've changed my circle. I've changed my circle. Therefore, i.e., I've changed my net worth. I've changed my net worth. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of there. Hands up to a good show. Hands up to a good show per again. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. As we always do, I like to get you out of here with what keeps me going, my mother's song. And it simply goes like this. May the work I've done speak for me. May the life I've lived speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, oh Lord, may they all say, may the service we give on these podcasts speak for me. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Hey, y'all, thank you for allowing us in your home. Thank you for allowing us on your phone. Thank you for allowing us in your heart. Hey, Big Cuz, Grace and Mercy, welcome back, Helen. Kid Cuz, welcome back. All right, y'all, all we need is grace and mercy. To everybody out there, to God be the glory. Kenny Davis, take us home. Now go out there and have a great day on purpose. This is Simply Us. I'm Party Marty. That's my time. We out.